Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It is time now for Education Matters. Dr. Craig Douglas is joining us this morning. Thank you so much for calling in, Dr. Douglas. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, Dr. Douglas, you know, with this the pandemic that's going on, parents are now educators at home. What tips do you have for all of us parents out here?
Well, everybody's kind of in a similar boat, aren't they? And it's a new boat, if you will. I think the first thing, and I see this all the time posted on various websites, stay positive, stay reassuring with children at home. This is a new experience for them also, to say the least. So be good listeners, parents, let children talk it out, anticipate that they will vary from one day to another. They may go through stages where they feel like this is really fun to be home, and then they may go through stages where they feel quite the opposite and they want to get back to school, to their friends and their routines. That simply is not going to happen in the immediate future. So be positive, be reassuring, and assure everybody at home that we will get through it together. And there's no certain end date. We need to take it one day to a time. A second suggestion, and I said this before, but I see it all the time on the internet, keep to a routine the best possible way you can. That is to have kind of a set bedtime, a set time to get up in the morning, so that habits are established and routines are established, and a new normal, if you will, is established. That will help children cope with different challenges during the day. It will help them stay on task as these new home lessons are delivered from their respective schools. That's a new challenge for schools, by the way, and I commend our educators and our educational leaders for being very creative, being very understanding of the challenges that children have at home, becoming homeschooled children for the first time in most cases.
Dr. Douglas, that's so true. You know, I have to let you know that it's so interesting now, because I know my kids are going through that, and their teachers are real. They're great role models. They're doing Zoom meetings with all of their classes so they can still stay connected with their friends and classmates. They're doing, you know, extra little things to just keep them excited about school and not worry.
Yes, Zoom has been a wonderful tool for educators. Many planning conferences have occurred using Zoom, and now, as you described, now lessons are being delivered using it. There are other tools too. I've heard instances where Facebook pages have been set up for classrooms. Ways to stay engaged, right? And the old-fashioned paper and pencil worksheets are also being used in some cases too. And I guess I'll point to a challenge for parents and for children, and that is the frustration level will likely rise upon occasion as new topics are introduced. And I love this quote: when all else fails, go to the kitchen. So hypothetically, let's say we're helping at home with, say, fractions. I always bring that up because it's a common challenge for young learners. Well, if frustration enters in with fractions, maybe take a time out, go to the kitchen and bake something, and in the process use fractions in the process of making the item, and maybe the light will come on and the frustration will diminish. So when all else fails, consider going to the kitchen and baking something.
That's a great idea, Dr. Douglas. I'm going to use that one. That is perfect. Okay. And I'd like to also ask you right now, what are some non-traditional activities that we can do as educators at home?
Well, I think there's probably no limit to the non-traditional approaches. I mean, everyone is trying to pull every rabbit out of every hat to make learning enjoyable, attainable, and possible. I think everyone is quite concerned about kids perhaps falling behind in some ways. I don't think this is non-traditional necessarily, but I think when all else fails, go to reading books, reading stories. Many times we all discover new learnings when we open a book and we begin reading. One of my best closest colleagues is the principal in Swan Valley, Craig Blower, and he does a YouTube video each morning. And recently he reminded his middle and high school students to try and read 30 minutes a day. I thought, what a great, simple equation. So that's maybe a good way to open doors that will lead to new learnings for all children of all ages.
I do. I don't want to let you go, Dr. Douglas, because we need your advice right now more than ever. What else, Dr. Douglas, can you tell us that we haven't covered that you think is very, very important that we need to focus on during this different time?
Patience. I think patience on the part of parents who perhaps feel anguish and frustration and want to help alleviate roadblocks for their young learners, but patience also for the young learners, that they've got to come to an understanding that you're going to take it one day at a time, and the learning will eventually come, but not without some challenges and maybe some frustrations. Taking a brief time out when those frustrations occur and getting a new start at it. I was a math major in college, and I can't tell you how many times I'd be stuck, quote unquote, on an assignment, and I would just simply have to close the book and move on to something else and then come back to it. And almost inevitably, when I came back to it, I got a fresh outlook, a fresh start, and the learning occurred.
Dr. Douglas, I think 3 great takeaways today: patience, positivity, and a fun timeout. Very important.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Douglas, for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Be well. Stay safe.
Thank you. You as well, Dr. Douglas. If you need any more information about today's topic, please check out the TV5 Hot Links page.